Good afternoon, everybody. This is DeAndre, LA BizGuy in the house. And today, our guest is the longtime friend, Candice Victoria, owner-operator of ManiPedi's ToGo, a.k.a. Manicurist Candice.
All right, you remember.
Did I get it? I
You
got it?
got
I
it
got
right,
it.
you
I
got
got
it
it
right.
right.
Hey,
We just went over it a few minutes ago, and I slipped, getting old. So, just to get everyone a heads up on exactly what you do, because you've evolved several times on your business. So the best way is, how would you describe your ManiPedi to-go business? How would you describe what service you offer?
I think the best way to describe it would be a mobile nail service that caters primarily to clients with who are medically fragile or limited mobility.
Right. So by pointing that out, understand that she's a mobile ManiPedi, and she said servicing the elderly, or what's the word?
The
that we
aging
use?
population.
The aging population. She's being correct, politically correct, better than me, right? And so,
Less offensive.
right, exactly. And so, you would think when you say ManiPedi, you thinking traditional ManiPedi. You know, the homegirls go get their ManiPedi done, right? But that's not what she said. Not saying she doesn't do. Do you still service that?
It's gotten to a place now. I'm kind of a little too busy to do healthy, regular,
Right.
in salon services.
Okay, okay. And so my question is, when you transitioned from traditional ManiPedi and you went to the aging population, did it happen to you? Was it a plan? Did you run across a situation where you serviced someone and said, I like this, or it started tugging on your heart? You started thinking about other people who have families who are challenged in that way? That, because I know if my parent or elder family member or friend was there, and I know they're getting taken care of like that, you don't get that. You don't say, like, I never even seen it. Even though I know you have your business, I still have not seen it, witnessed it, or heard about it on my own eyes, on my own ears. I only know it exists because of you. That's the only way I know it exists. So if it's that scarce, how did you get into that? How did you transition into that?
That's a very good question. So I think the answer is twofold. I think my life prepared me for it before I ever knew that I was going to actually be doing that or serving that particular population of people. Meaning I have a mother who had breast cancer at some point, so I was in caregiving capacity. I had a grandmother who had Alzheimer's. So the care of them kind of morphed in with my nail license, and then it was able to kind of line up later on down the line. But how it really happened, technically, one of my clients came into the salon and said, "How much would you charge me to do my mom at home? Because I'm having a hard time getting her in and out of the house."
I think you told me about that.
And all the
when
bells
that
and
happened.
whistles
I
went off
remember
like,
that.
oh my God, if she's got a mom at home, like how many other people have moms, aunts, uncles, And I found out that they're called the invisible population because you can't see them. They're inside.
I think I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Nice. And
So that's the
it just morphed in from there. That's
Morphed
when
in
the
from there.
fork in the road went that route. And when did you decide? Did it take long to decide to stay in that route, stay in that direction?
No, because, I didn't really want to go into beauty services because I had other family members that did, and they didn't really fare well in the end. So I was kind of like, So I always approached it kind of differently. You know what I mean? It was just like, this has got to be a business. I've got to do something different, because though they made a lot of money, they weren't able to really kind of let it run without them.
It's always that.
Right.
It's always that.
So
that brings us to this question that I actually wrote down for you, right? So once you went that route, how long did it take you to realize that, this is it? I'm going to stay in this space. I should stay in this space. I like it. It's flowing. I'm going to roll with it.
I didn't really have a choice to like it. I was struggling. And I had some of the worst clients, and I was only charging a very small amount of money because I didn't know the value of what I had. At that time, I didn't have advertising to tell me that there were people everywhere looking for this.
Right.
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I lost my train of
Once
thought.
you went there, how long
Maybe
did it take you to realize that I think I'm going to stay here?
maybe 2-3 years. I kind of started to feel the uptick of things, and I was like, you know what? I was on the circuit. I was meeting other technicians, listening to what their passions were, and nobody wanted to do the sick people.
Right. That's
The
exactly.
people that were,
Yeah.
that had limitations and mobilities and special needs.
Yeah. Let me ask you, now that you brought that up about your pricing, right? And actually, I wanted to do a direct video message at home about that exact topic. So I'm gonna speak on that real quick. I hear consultants who are training or mentoring other consultants or new entrepreneurs, and what they say and what you've heard them say, you make your prices. What do you think you're worth, right? They say, you stick to what you think you're worth. Don't let no one talk you down or, get your prices down, whatever. You know what you're worth, right? And so I hear that, and I think that what I find disturbing, at least for me, is that when someone shares that insight, they're not really putting their selves in the place of the person they're mentoring or coaching or just giving advice to, because this is my own thing right here, that you have to consider what position that person's in. So here's where I'm going. Here's the point I'm going to make. There's a market for everything, we know that. So when it comes down to pricing, it actually makes sense, because people say, make up your own price. You know your price, whatever you're worth, girl or guy, don't let nobody tell you what you're not worth. So there's a market for it. We know that, okay? But everybody out there in TV land, entrepreneur land, whatever, make sure that just because there's a market, your market doesn't only mean your market as far as what you do, what industry you're in. It also means your market that you have access to. If you raise your price, because you can price yourself right out of business, whether you price
Absolutely,
too high
100%.
or too low. And there's some people say, okay, I want to get into this. This is my price because my cousin or my mentor told me this is my price, whatever. There's the market, and then there's your market. All right? So understand the difference. And the difference is this. A market is only your market if you have access to it. If you want to sell brand new cars at $30,000 and $50,000, I don't care what your plan is or even how good you are or how nice your cars are. You're not going to sell that same car or home for the same price in LA that you would in Tucson.
Correct. Demand and all those things matter.
Exactly. If you don't have access to the high-paying client,
Correct.
and you're going to outprice yourself, you're going to price yourself out of business. It's okay to do that when you start in a business, okay? Don't just say, okay, I'm in there, this is what it's worth. Though it may be. But if you don't know how to reach them, and you don't know how to market to them, if they're just not in your circle, the high-end people have high-end clients, so they can charge high-end prices. If that's not you, if you're not there yet, right? But the same thing about underpricing as well.
Correct.
Right? So the same thing. So I want people, go by your market, not the market, your market, because you haven't proved anything yet if you're just starting out, right?
True.
Get the thing. So I just want to share that because that was always something that was on my heart. I hear it a lot, and I always wanted that platform, This next one. I met you, I believe, toward the beginning of this transition into this industry, right?
I do believe so.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
So did you consider any other businesses before then? Like, did this just happen to you? Did you plan on being an entrepreneur? Did you try some hit and misses before, or what? Just got into this.
I had some things going before this that were not related to nail health or grooming or beauty or hygiene or anything like that. And the market was crashing at that time. So it wasn't a good time for entertainment-based businesses to be launching. But then when I look back, all of the experience I gained, customer service, my bookkeeping, just negotiating venues, just all those things kind of started to play into the new business.
Yeah.
So they just the building blocks of entrepreneurship start, long before you see the fruit of the labor.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes that
The
time.
framework, yeah.
That's,
So yes, to answer
we
your
go
question,
through it.
yes, I definitely think that I am a serial entrepreneur. This business has birthed a food business, a meal planning business for those same clients who are homebound.
Right.
I was able to provide meal plans to go as a kind of a sidestep from that business, and any other thing that those in-home people might need, that's related to their health and well-being and wellness. So.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is definitely turned into a whole nother service.
Yes.
So it sounds like this is something that's on your heart. You got an environment, as far as caretaking, and that's excellent. That's usually how businesses stay around for a while. And I commend you on that. That's great, because you don't always get that opportunity, because when it's always only about the money. Though you can still be successful if you have your marketing and things like that. You can still be successful. But when it's on your heart, that means you're gonna do the extra little bit every now and then. You know, you're gonna step out of your comfort zone sometimes.
Absolutely.
You're gonna put in that extra oomph in it because you don't want to get the job done. You want to get the job done right.
And well.
You know, and yeah, and you realize you're taking care of someone's relative who is put in someone else's care. You know, and then you're an extension of that, and so, you know, I applaud you for that. I wish I had a applause button. You know, so, you know, but so here's another. So now that you've gone there and you see what fork in the road you've taken, where you're going with your business, things like that. So now that you're there, and you have a target, you have, you know, you're on your right track where you're going, and you're liking what you do. So now that you have your focus, how has that affected your personal life? How has this journey from one area to going here just affected your personal life? You have one still?
What personal life? There's no personal. It's all one
The $1 million
life,
question,
you know?
right?
It's all one life. They intertwine. They overlap. I build relationships first, and then I do business. So if I know I have something coming, for example, I think my daughter's going to be getting married or engaged soon. So I'm trying to look for event planners.
Right.
Now.
Right.
Not when I need one. You know what I mean?
There you
Because I
go.
feel like I want to see their work and who they are really, and how they, you know, what their integrity looks like, and who they are in the community, and, you know, and not overly so, but it just feels better when you have a rapport with someone and then you're doing business with them. So I try to build relationships and then see.
Building
there,
relationships.
yeah.
Everybody, you hear that? That's the most important part. Anyone knows me knows how big I am on that. And I don't even want to get into that because we'll be here all weekend.
Yeah.
Inga, is that something we talk? It's so important,
Yeah.
man. It's this, and I'm not gonna get into that. We're gonna do. Matter of fact, when I decide to talk about that, I'm gonna call you back
Okay,
because
we'll do that.
we built a relationship. We
Long
built a
time ago.
relationship many moons
Long
ago.
time ago.
And so, but I am going to share a little saying that I think I made up myself because I haven't heard it.
Okay.
Right? But without relationships, even the mighty dollar has minimal value.
I agree.
I've lived with that. I've just gone with that. That's been my motto. That's been my thing. I've moved according to that. Because even on the surface, if no one likes you or they don't know you,
Correct.
you have to convince them to do business with you, right? If no one wants to do business with you, then you can't do business. You can't make money.
I would say you could still make money. You won't make as much money.
There you go.
Because there's some business that just comes to me because of advertising and things like
Right,
that.
absolutely.
And then there's that extra business that comes because I'm good to the community. You know what I
Right.
mean? I volunteer and I donate and I have good, you know, rapport with people in the community.
This
So
is what
there's
it's about.
a little
This
bit
is
of
what
both
it's
of it.
about. So you mentioned your daughter, okay? So what is it like? What are the triumphs? What are the hurdles as far as being a solopreneur, a mompreneur?
Well, I built the business around my personal life. Not personal life, but my family life.
Yeah.
So if my daughter got out of school at 3 o'clock, that means I needed to be close to her school
Right.
half an hour prior to her getting out of school. So I didn't let things come in because I had already done it the other way, the
Right,
corporate,
yeah.
which is running the babysitter and all that, you know, all that stuff. So this way I kind of built it, and I only took clients that fit within a certain window. It was real authentic building, you know. I didn't spend a lot of time doing it in the reverse. I was like, if I'm going to do
Yeah.
this, then it needs to benefit me, or I might as well go back to what I was
Right,
doing before.
right.
You know? So that's what I did. I built the business, but it did it definitely gave me some hurdles and some challenges. I could only work to a certain time. So my money was cut off by a certain time.
Right.
But it forced me to build
Yeah.
the front end of my business or find clients who were available during the daytime. It made me think differently about nail services and nail hygiene services, which are usually seen as a Friday, Saturday, Sunday routine. Most of our clients are Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm off, you know, by a decent hour.
So life will groom you as an entrepreneur.
It will.
Life will groom you.
It will.
All right. So we're gonna get back. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna reestablish, and this is great. It's been a long
All
time
right.
coming with a homie. All right.
All right.
What's up, y'all? We are back here at LA BizGuy with our guest, Candice Victoria of ManiPedi ToGo. I've been experienced. I personally, Candice and I have been friends for quite some time now, and we met in an entire different environment, and I don't think at the time neither of us knew not only where we were going as far as entrepreneurs, but where our relationship would emerge. Is that the word? Is it merge or emerge? Am I saying it right?
Evolve,
Evolve. Let's
emerge,
just
all
go
of
with that. Let's
those.
just go with evolve. Okay. All right. And so, but it's been a pleasure. I think in some areas, several areas, we've both been better with our relationship as far as the interactions. I've had to think. Candice and I, we've talked many times, and we've shared many thoughts, and we've been able to just throw things against the wall with each other.
That's been the best part of this thing. Oh, man.
Being able to call each other at any given moment.
Sounding board.
Sounding board. Yeah. And you got to have that. And when you have the entrepreneurial community, really, it makes it healthy when you can do that. When you have a support group who knows what you're going through, knows some of the things you have to deal with as an entrepreneur. And so to have a conversation with someone who gets where you're coming from, and it just makes it I don't know if it makes it smoother, but you can move on from things. Okay, someone, you're not talking to someone who's just a listener, but they're thinking with you as they try to help you iron out.
Well, by nature, entrepreneurs are problem solvers, So we
By
get together
definition.
and you got a group of problem solvers working
Right.
on your problem,
Right.
Not even intentionally sometimes. We get together
Right.
and start talking about it. By the time we finish having a little networking gathering, we've come up with the
Right,
answer,
right. Yeah, just speaking about the networking gathering. So when Candice and I first met, one of the few times that I think it was the original time you were doing a networking situation, it was just a live entertainment down in the South Bay, and she had some musicians and some artists that I had worked with before, and I was going out to support them, and I went down and to support and see the live music. I didn't know Candice, but when I got there, it was just such a casual, just a nice environment that this young lady had put together that I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to come back. I brought some friends down the next time, and Candice and I we didn't click then, but we were now aware of each other, right?
I thought you were coming to steal my customers.
So and she told me that. She
and
told
my
me
email
that,
list, and
and
I didn't
right.
know.
So think about it. Let's talk about it though. So she told me she thought about that, and I said, no, I want to help. I'm here to help you, and it seemed like the way she reacted, seemed like it was such a foreign concept, of black entrepreneurs. I'm just want to come down and help. You don't know me, but I see what you're doing. I would like to help, pretty much is what I was saying. And so it took a while, took some massaging.
It did.
Took some massaging, and so we've been friends and partner entrepreneurs for a good 10 years or more. At least more
At
than 10.
least, yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
So, and it's been a great journey. And so I'm really appreciative. And since you mentioned the problem, let's talk about them unexpected problems. So like I said, we've been friends for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the moment when you were getting on your feet, grinding, things like that, and you say your little hoopty vovo you said you had? Or did I put in the word hoopty? You just say that?
Did you call my car
See, there you go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
It was an older Volvo station
let's
wagon.
go with older
It was a
Volvo station
boxy.
wagon. Okay.
Very metal.
Right. And so when she was making it happen, she was just out there grinding on what she had. No pride. Just go out there and hustle. Her pride was not, she wasn't trying to keep up with the Joneses. She was just working with what she had, making it happen and getting there. And at some point, did it break down or something like that?
Several
Or-
points. All the time it would break
Yeah,
down.
and this is things you got to deal with as an entrepreneur. You just got to keep it pushing no matter what happened. And I think we talked before the show, and what I didn't know that there was times where you just had to rent a car on the fly.
Yeah.
To get to the client. She just had to rent a car on the fly, and so
Leave it parked and go hop in go get a rental car.
leave the car
But
where
I
it
didn't. I
lay.
remember a point where I didn't have a real credit card. Like I had one of those prepaid kind of
Yeah,
credit
yeah,
card. So I had to try to figure out that hurdle then because the rental car places didn't accept the little prepaid credit cards.
Right.
But you just had to kind of figure it out.
You had to figure it out on the fly.
I graduated to a secured credit card then. Ooh.
Yeah, you're doing it now, right?
And I was able
That's
to
the next
go.
step.
Yeah, that's the next step. Baby
I've been
steps.
in both of them steps, you
Oh,
know.
man.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't handed to you.
It was not handed to me.
Definitely
No.
wasn't handed to you. I've been
But
through
it's
that too.
better working from the mail, amidst the mailroom concept, knowing every aspect and every
Yeah.
element of your business. You
Yeah.
know, you're able to run it kind of on a wing and a prayer if you have to, on fumes, literally. I can remember that Volvo trying to go up to a client who was way at the top of Mount Olympus, which is like a really high point in Hollywood. And my car was smoking and going up the hill, you know. But I was going. I said, even if it breaks down, I'm gonna hop in an Uber halfway up this hill and get to my client.
Man, there you go. See, y'all understand when you're an entrepreneur, this is what you go through. And understand this, as many times as Candice is talking about that this happened on multiple occasions.
It has.
Right? And I don't know if you ever had to, but what you didn't mention is that you canceled the appointment. You didn't cancel the appointment.
I needed the money to get the car fixed, so now I can't cancel these appointments because I got to get the car in the shop.
Right. Cause and effect.
Absolutely.
And so that's someone who's taking pride in their service. I mean, in addition to needing the money, she could have just canceled, say, you know, and that would have been a good reason to cancel.
Very solution driven too. My clients' mobility restrictions caused me to have to adjust constantly at different clients. This one would have the right side would be, you know, collapsed or unable to move, or have Parkinson's, would have tremors, or so I would always be adjusting or stuffing pillows to try to get them at an optimal, you know, angle to get their nails and feet done. So I was constantly in fix it, repair, create, you know what I mean? So that just became the theme of my work constantly, you know? And now it's just, it really is a practice.
You got to wear them hats.
It's a practice. I cried a lot too, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I had temper tantrums, you know, and wanted to quit, you know, then what am I going to do then? You know?
That's entrepreneur though. That's just, you know, everyone just understand, if it's not tough, if you're not going through hard times, you know, you got to reevaluate. Because there's no one out there as entrepreneurs, all you entrepreneurs out there, if you take a look back, whether you read about it in an article or a book or a TV interview, YouTube, or on TV show, radio show, if you look at all the entrepreneurs, the successful entrepreneurs in the world that you admire, they all have stories of going through these trials and tribulations, and to some being many, not just some, just many, being homeless or broke and just losing at the game so many times. And so I always tell people, if you're going through a hard time and things are tough and you're about to lose it, and just, that means you're on your way. That means you're on the right track. According to our most successful entrepreneurs out there, by going through hard times, you're on the right track.
And it also gave me stories and things to discuss with my clients. I can remember when I was catching the bus and I had a bicycle, I learned how to put my bike on the front of the bus, right? So when I talk to people, I'm just more relatable because I have all these new experiences from being in all these places and overcoming all these little hurdles and challenges and, you know, just different things. It just made me a more well-rounded and, you know, my depth. It gave me more depth, you know, in my life. So I think it all just kind of gelled, you know, together.
Okay, if gel is the word, because it's always rough when I'm dealing with it. So it's not, I see gel is soft and smooth, but I ain't seen that yet. So I'll call you. You can text me some gel.
Okay.
You know, when the time comes. So as we mentioned, the aging population, right? So you're not just the normal, typical ManiPedi. So in addition to the normal liabilities that can come with this business, is there even more liabilities you got to pay attention to now that you're dealing with the aging population, as far as having insurance, liability insurance for what you do?
Well, we have liability. Every technician has, you know, a liability insurance policy.
Yeah.
But just, you don't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
Forget if you have insurance and it'll cover it. Like, you don't want to be responsible. Right. You don't want to be the one that, you know, hurt somebody in a serious way. So yes, it definitely takes a special person, a special heart, somebody who cares and is not just here for the paycheck, which talks about my hiring and who I hire and why I hire them. And it's not just for me, someone who has a nail license.
Right.
You know, it's someone who's done care work before in most cases, or that just has a heart for fragile people, you know?
Yeah.
So.
What about yourself?
What about myself?
Like insurance for yourself. Like, how do you look out for yourself?
It's the same.
Yeah.
Just liability insurance.
Yeah, because a lot of people miss that.
And it's not that expensive as
I was
one
ask
might
you that.
think.
I was
No.
going to ask you, is it for small business? That's actually my
You
next
should
question.
have it. I mean, I don't know. Every small business is different. I'm sure if you're
Yeah.
selling, acid-based products or things like that,
Right,
it's a totally
right.
different
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Service-based businesses typically, isn't that overpriced.
Right.
I can tell you, I've used it one time in all the years we've had it, just because we dropped one of my technicians spilled nail polish on somebody's. The bag broke and all the polish broke onto the front stairs of the building.
Okay.
So then they needed to be power washed and all that. So insurance takes
it's
care of
insurance.
things like, mishaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's always that.
Yeah.
So speaking of your technicians,
Mhm.
right? You have to hire and contract, whatever. Like, how do you move about that? Do you word of mouth? You call a girlfriend and say, or you call an uncle and say, I need somebody. You go on Indeed, in the paper, salons. Like, what's
It's
your
all by
process?
referral.
What's your process?
Well, because I'm on the network, meaning I'm still working, I run into
Okay.
technicians at different
Right.
things. Not so much anymore because I'm running fully my own show. But before I did this, I worked for, I worked with other technicians
Yeah,
and other
yeah.
salons and things of that nature. So I built relationships and I kind of know who's who. And then the people that know me know what I do. So they send people to me. Oh, go,
Right.
call
Yeah,
Candice.
yeah.
She's probably got, this is what she does, And then people just kind of come to me.
Right. So when you do that, when someone comes to you to help you work, what's your process of, do you put a lot of energy on saying, well, I know you know what you're doing, but with this company and with our type of clients, is there a certain way you have to say, well, this is how we do it a little differently, we're dealing with a different type of audience, and, you try to get them to provide service in a manner that you would do so, whether it's your brand, it's the way you do things, and you have to go through retraining and just get them to do it the ManiPedi to go way?
Well, I spend about 6 weeks with them. They go out on visits with me, different types of visits,
Okay. So
hospitals,
like a
care
ride-along thing.
facilities. Absolutely.
Okay.
I let them do the polishing the first time and then the massage the next time. And then I kind of back them so they get comfortable with
excellent.
the environment
Right.
that they're in first. And then, so I do train them. They come with training and a license. And then I kind of give them our way.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I do it by personal referral, because I get to know a little bit more about who they are and how they move and how they tick, and
Right.
So I cheat the system a little bit.
As you should.
Yeah, because my clients are worth me spending the time on the front end to get to know who I'm sending out.
Did you hear that, Inga? You just said because her clients are worth it, Richard. So on that note, we're gonna take another break, and I got a couple more questions for you. You can hang, but that was a good way to end this. There's nothing to say. I don't know how else to end it. All right, we see y'all in a little bit. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my, baby, you my, baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me by. Oh, baby, you my oxygen, we living a life. We living a life. We be thinking out loud, conversation so loud. When I breathe in, you breathe out. Watch my soul shout, creating something from nothing. I'm not fronting for cuffing. Somebody wanna love you, wanna trust you, just wanna live with you, give with you, move with you, understand you, never change you. Through the winter, summer, spring too. We be so cool. I wanna smoke you. I'll take the joke too. You be my soul food. Baby, you my oxygen. You're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen. You're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen. You're getting me high. Baby, you my, baby, you my, baby, you my oxygen. You're getting me high. Baby.
Dim the lights, I smell your black perfume. Oxygen, I breathe your every move. Maybe we could take off to the moon. Maybe we could take off to the moon. My energy is filling up the room. Fireflies in the invited you. Soul food, I need a bite of you. O2, every drop of you. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Loving you like I need to breathe.
Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my, baby, you my, baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me by. Baby, you my oxygen, we living a lie. We living a lie. We living a lie. We living a lie.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're still here with the owner operator of ManiPedi ToGo. Excellent business, Candice Victoria, aka Manicurist Candice. Look her up, Google it, search it. That's how you'll find her. Been in business for a long time doing her thing, and I've watched her every step of the way. One thing I say myself, Candice is big on that brand. It's green, Candice. Just the whole natural feel. It's a comfort. She branding all the time. I've seen you do some incredible just branding strategies. She came in here with branded shoes. She's like, Cordy, we can't see the shoe. I wish we could just show the shoe. Like, she came in ready. Some T-shirt and other. Like, the car was branded. The Volvo.
No, it was not branded. It had stickers on there.
There you go.
I didn't have a logo and all
Right.
that back then.
But she made sure you knew it was her coming, so that was clear. She paid a professional to do her logo. These things matter. You got to spend the money. And one thing I spoke with someone just the other day. Yeah, you got to. Of course, you got to make the money. But those who do, sometimes if you want to represent. A lot of people, when they start business, they have a 9-to-5, right? And sometimes what we need to do is that decision to see, because no one, let's put it this way, you say you got to make the money first, right? And most of us, either we have 9-to-5, we got something else going on, right? But even if just for 1 week you change your priorities, right? Because you know what? No one has gone to the bar. I mean like the liquor at the club, and said, I'm only going to spend this many dollars. Now, they never equated to dollars. They might equate it to, say, I'm only going to have this many drinks. But they never equated to dollars. And, now, don't get me wrong. I've been there, too, and I can't say I don't go there myself from time to time. But now, in my elder years, sometimes I do have to quit. I say, well, I'm going to need to do this, so I think I'm going to not go out this weekend. Right? And as a man, I feel like if I get away with $100, in a night out, I'm good. So to me, that means if I just stay home, that's $100 I have to spend on my logo or some, I don't care, stamps, shipping, whatever. And so I get that because money is still not plentiful. And as entrepreneurs, you don't always know when it's coming. So when you have something that's in the pipeline that you need to take care of, I would say invest in your brand. And it doesn't matter what your service is. When I speak with you, and I was just saying this to someone just yesterday, I believe that one of my pet peeves is I meet people, and they're very fluent. They're good at what they do, and they got that style, they got that image, and they tight. They tight, right? Not just by show, but they are who they are. But then I go look at their business card and their website or anything they do for their brand, and it doesn't paint the same picture. And they don't realize that's costing them money. And they don't see it because the money's not literally coming out of their pocket. Right? But they don't realize it because the money that's not coming out of your pocket because it never made it to their pocket because they're costing themselves money. Right? I agree. And you have to, now if you have some skills and you think you like your logo, that's cool too. But just ask some people, like, what do you think? Do you think it'll work? Whatever, just make sure you're representing her because not everyone's going to tell you, So I've always admired the way you present yourself and your branding and things like that. And so I definitely want to commend you on that. And I have
you.
quite a few people in my circle that they do a pretty good job of that, you know. And all your branding, it is clear it was detailed. Even if it didn't cost a lot of money, you make sure it was detailed, you know, things like that. So, and going into that, I happen to be aware that you are not only knowledgeable, but big on strategic partnerships, because I'm big on that as well, right? And strategic partnerships, to explain to those who may not be aware of the term or what it means, is as an entrepreneur, you have a circle that you work with, other vendors or that provide services or products that accessorize your business, right? And you can work out relationships with them and just do business together. Like a lot of times, small businesses, they do collaborations during the holidays. Like, for example, the easiest way I can explain it is a gift bag, you know, or a swag bag, right? Swag bag, you know, you have an event or you go to an event and they have different people's product inside that bag. That's a strategic partnership. So they bring their resources together and share their marketing, you know, to whoever has the audience. And the swag bag, accessorizes the audience. You have a giveaway and things like that. And so you have a few. You've used some different strategic partnerships. You don't say who they are, but in what areas have you worked with some strategic partners to get some things done, and things like that? Like even if it's just transportation or whatever the case is.
Well, actually, that you mentioned that the products that we use on our clients actually come from a relationship that I built with you. That's our primary product. That's all we use.
Okay.
So I send a text. I place our corporate order,
Right.
And then we get our order. We use it, and so if something goes wrong, we know exactly what happened. But we haven't had any problems because we have relationships, and we make sure those things are. We know where our products are coming from. We know who's making them. So that's the baseline of our business. Our soaps, our butters, our lotions all come from a vendor that I met.
Right.
Building a relationship with you.
Right.
My website and my logos and all those things that put me together and made me presentable to the mass public were relationships that I built with you. And honestly, since I met those two people, I haven't really met in other realms and circles better people at what they do. So your network is pretty has some of the best at what they do.
I didn't hear you break it. Say it again.
Your network has the best at what they do. They are the best at what they do. Yeah.
You hear that, Inga?
Yes.
That's
the ones I know, at least.
Right. There you go. So that's very important to all your entrepreneurs out there. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid, first of all, but don't hesitate to if you want to expand your brand, you can create relationships with people, with companies who can accessorize what you have and come together. And because you got to remember, if you come together, if you have 25 people and I have 25 people, we come together, that's 50.
And not even just that, just the trickle down effect of it. I remember when I was still working in the salon, I did a banana pudding pedicure. So I got banana puddings from a very popular banana pudding maker in my circle of influence, and paired them together. And because of that one day that I did that event, it wasn't an event, but just she tells everybody about me. When somebody asks about nails, it's my business that she remembers. So it's not just the instant dollar, but it's the residual talk and shares and posts and things that you get as a result of the relationships that you build.
Yeah. Now it might have been small as you described it, but to the customers, it was an event. Because I wouldn't mind getting my nails done and my pedicure and having some banana pudding while it's happening. We can graduate to what the ladies like mimosas while they're getting their nails done.
Yeah. But all of those things are things where I built strategic partnerships around those types of events. In fact, I think I met a lot of people like going to those types of events, meeting them, and just sparking ideas. In fact,
Yeah.
there's a young lady I met. She mentioned a particular advertising lane to me, and I got in that lane and never looked back. But had I not been out there meeting and greeting and shaking hands, it's not about the
Right.
dollar.
not
It's
that-
the value
not
of
that
conversation.
instant gratification is always not
or
always what you need.
ideas, or have you tried this, or have you gone to this store, or have you ordered from this company? Those kinds of things can be a lot bigger than that instant dollar.
Right. I get that. So now that we're been in entrepreneurs for a while, and you have your niche, adult children, do you plan on scaling it to where when you're done, when you're at the point that I don't want to do this, not the business, just physically, do you plan on just, you're going to shut it down when you're ready to shut down, sell it, continue to scale it so others can take over and just have the family business inherited? Like, have you thought about that yet? And if so, what ideas are you playing with? I mean, because
I'm on the fence about it all. I didn't plan to be here with this business in this
right,
way.
okay, right, yeah,
So I have definitely thought about a number of things. I've thought about doing it in all the major cities, at least one in each major market. So like LA, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Atlanta, all the kind of major
Right.
metro cities. And just having one location, and it not being franchises, but just kind of going, because you can't make it really a franchise, because things are going to be different based on the cost and what you can charge, and what what the need is in that
and
area,
demographics and all that kind of stuff.
so I can see myself moving around, duplicating it in a few places.
Okay.
Maybe not a franchise in the traditional sense. Nothing about me is traditional. I take business tips from the traditional model, but I kind of tweak them to my own thing. So I'm not interested in doing it one way and then just copying it, rolling it out.
Right,
I really want to move into a town, see how people relate, what it looks like, what the hospital situation is there, the open-mindedness or lack thereof of the people there. Will it work here? So I've thought about a number of things. And then there's always still the meal planning component.
Right.
I thought about doing that and contracting that out to another provider, but under my brand, where I still keep watch over its presentation and things like that. So there's a lot to play with.
Yeah, you've always had some great presentations. Speaking of presentation, I've watched you, and I can't even say evolve. Like, you've been good at it since you started with what you had. You always put together good presentations, and in the video of this recording, they're going to see some of them and things like that. How much do you think that affected your growth?
Everything.
Yeah?
I didn't come into the nail world in a traditional nail salon setting.
Yeah.
I worked in a spa setting, which kind of was an elevated nail experience, more like like your major brand nails spa places.
Okay, yeah.
Warm towels and the extra things. And so that kind of really set the tone and the shape for how I delivered my services. And then I looked at all the major brands out there and just said, what do? They have brand color. They have consistency. They're set apart. When you see this, you think of, this. And so I kind of just followed that model on a smaller scale. I got rid of everybody else's branding on all of my bottles and towels and everything else. Took everybody else's labels off and put my own on. Because when my clients were looking at things while I'm working on them, I wanted them to be absorbing my brand, the feeling of my brand. Absolutely. Not all of the other bottles and labels that were on there.
Yeah.
So, I've worked really hard to be consistent with the brand. And in fact, people call and say, is this the company that has the green towels or the green mats?
Right. See, there you go. Constant branding.
So it works.
Constant branding. Well, that's what it's about. You've done your thing, and I've watched you, and as I was growing as well, you've been an inspiration to me, and and I'm proud to have shared your name. Proud to have, like you said, bring other people in your circle and bring you in my friend circles and things like that. And I appreciate you coming to my house and doing my feet too when you did that. So, we got one more minute to. What's that last question I had, Inga? There's one off the cuff question I had real quick for this last meeting. This last one, just a real changes over time. Real quick, what kind of changes have you had to make, whether it be business, whatever, logo, how you move things, changes in life? What changes how you evolved over
I
time?
started with a pad and pen. I'm now using a digital calendar to keep track of all my clients and all of their information, which, I just remember writing everything down and then
Right.
searching up a map to get there. Now everything, I have an assistant that answers the phone and takes, does all my booking and payment systems and laundry service. And it's just evolved
Right.
into,
Okay.
I buy things wholesale. I used to buy them kind of retail, one little bottle of this and one little bottle
Right.
of that. So
As the
now I'm
budget would
buying
allow.
things as budget would allow. And now I'm buying, cotton in the volume. I didn't even know they sold cotton in big boxes and
Right.
acetone and by the gallon, and things of that nature. So yes, things have changed because it's, growing.
Okay. Nice. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming down. It's been a
Thanks for
long
having
time
me.
coming that we were able to sit down and chop it up like this. And like I say, congratulations on your growth and success. And we really appreciate, we meaning the general public, appreciate the service you provide to your audience.
Thank
All right?
you. All right. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you. You guys, appreciate you guys watching. Remember, ManiPedi to go. Look her up. She's local in the LA area. And just follow her business model. All right? That was great. That was fun. We got to do this again.
Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my, baby, you my, baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me high. Baby, you my oxygen, you're getting me by. Oh, baby, you my oxygen, we living a life. Baby, you my, we living a life. We be thinking out loud, conversation so loud. When I breathe in, you breathe out. Watch my soul shout, creating something from nothing. I'm not fronting for cuffing. Somebody wanna love you, wanna trust you, just wanna live